on the current trends and polling that's going on right now, Joe Biden needs to come out of his basement, or the DNC needs to unleash their murder hornets. Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel, and this is The Conservative Take. If you're looking for content based on TV culture, movies, and politics filtered the right way, then you've come to the right spot. So please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. And if you'd like to support this channel, please go to walkedaway.net and make it known when you first walked away. So in this video, this is going to be another polling video, heavy on the polling. Heavy on the polling, and I'm going to go over several polls that are going to show you a little bit about what's going on in the landscape right now with the election for 2020. Of course, we've seen so many articles and media coverage about how Trump is so far behind. And so this video is going to show you that there's a lot more than just polls, especially polls that aren't very accurate. So what I want to do in this video is I'm going to go over the basics, but I want to talk about the big thing where President Trump is actually taking over the lead in the national poll and also in the Battleground poll, which is where most is important. So before we do that, I'm going to cover Rasmussen. This is going to be a heavy Rasmussen video as well. And you wonder, Kyle, why you keep talking about Rasmussen? Well, probably because it's one of the most accurate. And I'm going to talk about that, give some credibility, and then get some other polls that, again, will give a picture of how Trump is doing and why I think Joe Biden needs to come out of his basement right now, because if he doesn't campaign, Trump is going to run away with this thing. And so, unless, of course, they bring out some sort of crisis like the murder hornets. So right now, it's only thing that's keeping Biden up is the fact that they have this COVID lockdown and this situation in the country where everything is just so volatile. That was working for a while, but America is actually seeing through that. I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, so at this time, I want to go over some information concerning Rasmussen and why I feel they're one of the better polls out there. I mentioned this in this video right here. You can check it out, but this information is a little bit different. It is a good addendum to that video. So right now, I'm going to show you a tweet by a blue checker on Twitter. His name is Richard Grinnell. He is going to be talking to Rasmussen polls and he's going to be mocking them. He's basically saying in this tweet here, 1,104 people nationwide were called on the phone. He mockingly tweets, "Hi, I know you don't know me at all, but can you tell me anyway who you're voting for? You can trust me during this crazy cancel culture. I promise." So he says this poll can't be more irrelevant. So what Rasmussen says is this is pretty good. They say, why, when we are already weighted D+4, do we frequently identify trends that other D-weighted polling firms don't? To paraphrase a cagey Cajun, it's privacy, stupid. So that's an inside joke talking about the campaign manager for Bill Clinton. It's the economy, stupid. So when you see a D+4, it's always relative to Republicans. So that would mean that D+4 means it's 4 points or 4 percentage points higher than the Republican in terms of the sample size. If it's R+2, that means it's 2 percentage points higher than Democrats. It's always one or the other. It's relative to each other. So that's how that works. And so what they're saying here is that we're not carrying the water because we're actually sampling it higher turnout for Democrats, which is what they expect. And what they're saying simply is this, is that how come we can do that as D+4 rating and other polls who are doing the same thing can't get the same accurate numbers that we can? Why is it that we're finding stuff at D+4 and other people aren't finding it at D+4 and even higher? That's the thing. And they're saying the reason why is because their polls are private. Again, check out that link right here. I explained that as well. Okay, this is an interesting tweet. I want to kind of walk you through this. This is from Charles Buchanan. He's the guy in the middle here. He's basically saying he's responding to a poll that Rasmussen had, and this poll was actually posted by another organization called Political Polls. So Political Polls is retweeting a Rasmussen poll that had Biden at 47 and Trump at 44, 3 points higher. Now, the narrative on the left is that Rasmussen is a Trump poll. So why is Rasmussen, who is supposedly a Trump poll, having Biden up 3? Now, in July, things were really rocky for Trump across the board, with Brad Parscale doing some questionable things. I mentioned that before as well. But this is what it was. This is what their numbers were. And so this guy, Charles Buchanan, here at the bottom here with the green, says Rasmussen is doing its narrative setting thing before settling into proper methodology in the waning weeks to retain credibility. So what he's basically saying is he's trying to make an excuse, a narrative as to why Rasmussen has Biden higher, because it goes against his preconceived notion that Rasmussen is a Trump poll. So this next example highlights the fact that Rasmussen was the only poll out there, or one of the few polls, that actually had Biden doing well pre-Super Tuesday. Most people had Bernie Sanders doing well and other people. So they tweeted this, that they were saying that their pundits, their critics were saying that there's no polling showing such an apparent rapid rise for Biden nationally after the South Carolina primary. But then at the bottom here, the People's Pundit tweeted this, saying the Rasmussen poll, which big media's favorite poll to hate, caught the rise of Joe Biden, and they give a link to it. So they were saying that they were on top of it even then. So right here, we see the Real Clear Politics results for 2016. We see at the top here, Clinton won by 2.1 percentage points in terms of the general election. And if you look at the bottom here, where it has Clinton +2, who did that? Well, that was Rasmussen Reports. They were the most accurate poll in 2016. And that is something that Rasmussen is really good about highlighting. This here is the American Research Group's ratings for 2016 and which polls did the best. And if you can see there, Rasmussen is right on top. So I think I can prove that this is a pretty good poll to go by, and I'm not going to make any more apologies about this. If you have any questions, then you have other issues that you don't want to deal with. But if that's not enough, let's go through some other polls that may convince you what's going on. This poll here has most likely voters believe violent protests are hallmarked by criminals. Isn't that funny how most Americans feel that the people who are protesting are criminals trying to take advantage of the situation? It says most likely U.S. voters believe the violent protests dominating several cities nationwide are dominated by criminals taking advantage of the situation, a Rasmussen poll released on Monday. And so that's one thing to consider. If people are looking at it that way, well, how are they going to vote? Let's go into this next poll here. Next poll here says, voters strongly reject government role in ensuring neighborhood diversity. This was another policy that Joe Biden was trying to push. It says voters strongly agree with the President Trump's decision to end an Obama-era regulation intended to push low-income housing into more affluent neighborhoods in the name of racial diversity. Trump got reamed for this past week when he was basically putting a tweet out essentially saying, and I'll paraphrase, that people don't want poor neighborhoods, ghettos, next to where they live. That's just common sense. No one's against diversity, but we want quality diversity. You know what I'm saying? That's all Trump is saying. And the voters also agree with that. So before I get back into the main point of this video, I'm showing you the Battleground polls and how Trump is now leading in several key Battleground states. I want to bring back to the point that CNN had a poll back in May, which had him leading Biden by 7 points on average for the Battleground states. This is not something that's new. I mean, this is something that Trump has had prior to the whole outbreak and the riots and so forth. And in another video, I also brought up this poll that Dan Scavino of the Trump campaign brought up, and it comes to us from Spry Strategies, where it has Trump leading in virtually all of the Battleground states right here. I mentioned that in a video right above. Now, so let's get back into the poll that comes from the Express in UK. And so this new poll released this weekend shows that President Donald Trump, the incumbent GOP president, has taken a national and Battleground states lead over his Democrat challenger, presumptive nominee, Vice President Joe Biden. Says the survey from the Democracy Institute commissioned by the Sunday Express newspaper shows Trump leading Biden 48 to 46%. What's more, Trump has opened a bigger lead, according to this poll, in the crucial Battleground states, meaning the president, by this pollster's estimates, currently is projected to win 309 electoral votes, more than he did in 2016. It's very interesting. So the poll has Trump leading in Florida 47 to 45, New Hampshire 46 to 43. The polling suggests Mr. Trump is emerging as the race leader because of a belief he is best at handling the economy, with a third of the voters putting the economy as the top election issue and 66% thinking that the economy is bouncing back after coronavirus, voters believe that Trump is better for the economy by 57 to 43%. And like I said, that KG Cajun said, it's the economy, stupid. When it comes to the Electoral College, the pollster argues that Trump will pick up Minnesota and New Hampshire, but that Biden would pick up Wisconsin. And it goes on. And so the numbers are pretty interesting. So Rasmussen tweeted on this saying, Donald Trump in the U.S. election polls surge as voters trust him to revive COVID-19 hit economy. Here's the numbers we just mentioned. Overall approval of 50 to 48. Party ID, 84% Republican. That's about 5 points higher than Rasmussen. Democrat, 25%. Independent, 44. Race, 40 for blacks, 57 for whites, 43% for Hispanics. These are really, really high numbers. And so that is what we're looking at. So I've done a lot of polling videos, and these numbers can really get in the weeds, and eyes can go cross-eyed on you. But polling at this stage with 3 months out is still a wonky kind of thing, okay? We have had no debates, and quite frankly, we probably won't have any debates because Biden's going to try to stay in his basement. But these numbers like this is going to get Biden to want to come out of that basement, or the DNC's got to figure out something else to divert everybody's attention. So I'm going to do a video that's going to identify 5 things to look at outside of polling to give an indication of how an election is doing this far out. So here at The Conservative Take, we give you content based on culture, TV, movies, and politics, filtered to you the right way. And so if you're looking for that, please click the like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. And please share with your friends because we're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. And also, if you want to help this channel, please go to walkedaway.net and make it known when you first walked away. And as always, please check out some content that I have right here.